Malawi and boy.
Okay. Cut the music. Let's start. Well, welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. I had to change the cameras. It looks like the other camera I have, every time it gets very cold in Ireland or foggy, it catches the fog, which is very disappointing because it was one of the good cameras that I have. So we've gone back to the old school camera. This camera never fails me. To be honest with you, this camera has been around with me for this first one has been around with me for 4 years and it never fails. But this new one, this high-tech one, seems to get foggy and it embarrasses me every time I try to come online. So anyway, welcome to the show, guys. Before we go on, guys, let me just say one thing. I am not going to come here and lie that when Calvin Phillips signed for Man City, I wasn't excited. I repeat this. When Calvin Phillips signed for Man City, I was excited. And if you go to the channel, I think we made a video talking about the perfect Fernandinho replacement, the perfect DM we can get out there on the market, which was Calvin Phillips. But somehow, Phillips to Man City was an incredible move on paper. It was amazing to see. We say we're going to dominate the league because whenever Rodri is injured, we had Phillips, but it did not work out. We're going to discuss the reasons why it didn't work out, but we're also going to talk about the fact that even though Phillips did not work out at City, he's a good signing for West Ham because Phillips, whether you like it or not, whether you have got agendas, if you look at the league right now, if you talk about, let's talk about Rodri being number one, Thomas Partey being number two, very close. Yes, I say Thomas Partey. And then let's talk about Rice. Let's throw Rice somewhere there, Mourinho, blah, blah, blah. Phillips still gets into that top five. Whether you like it or not, Phillips still gets into that top five or DMs in the Premier League. And also, Phillips still is one of the DMs that has to play for England, regardless you like it or not. So let me see. Just go to the comments. Veta says, I'm listening on the way to work, so I'm glad I could catch the show. Big up to you. Good riddance says Ashley. Guys, let's just be nice to this guy. So anyway, I'm welcoming Pitch Points Carl to discuss this. We're gonna do a video about Claudio. Is it Claudio? Yeah, Claudio. After this this video. But let's talk about Phillips. So, Carl, you and me were raving about Phillips. Of course, if you look at him as a DM, just a DM himself, he's not a useless player, Carl. It's just the fact that things did not work out at City. But you know what, Carl? I have been doing my research. I think during our research, we missed one thing, Carl. If you look at Phillips when he was at Leeds United, do you know, Carl, he was never a player that played short passes or never a player that kept the ball for a while. It was always counter attack, transition, breaking up play of other teams, blocking, looking after the back. So somehow, this guy was never going to come in and be a sort of Rodri replacement. But I think we also said something smart. If you look at Fernandinho was never Rodri. Fernandinho never kept the ball. It was always David Silva who kept the ball in the team. So, what do you think went wrong, Carl, at City? First of all, are my reasons right that maybe we thought this guy was something that he wasn't, but he is still a good player?
Yeah. Good morning, Patrick. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Patrick. Welcome to the True City Fan channel. It's good to be back here again with my brother Patrick. You're right. We did analysis of Phillips back in maybe 2-3 years ago. I remember when Fernandinho was leaving, we did a show. Me, you, and a few others did a show around what we called the Fernandinho replacement, right? And we had like a couple of options. We had Lucas Paqueta. That was one. Remember?
Yeah.
We had Calvin Phillips. We had a few others. Dennis Zakaria. We had him there.
Yeah,
we had a few players that we looked at, and we felt that he was going to be the one that we would potentially sign.
Yeah,
which we ended up signing.
Yeah.
You're right in the fact that Leeds United under Bielsa played in transition.
Yeah.
With the long ball. Phillips' long ball is amazing.
Yeah.
But I think what was happened ever since Fernandinho left, and Fernandinho also played, able to play the long pass, was that we changed the way we play.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that's
all of a sudden, Phillips comes in, and the team has moved on from how we played in 17-18 or even 18-19 to the way we play right now, which is more about controlling the game and using Rodri as this, regista central midfield player, box to box controller of the game, where he can play like short passes, long passes, switch a point of attack, build up the play from the back, all those things. Rodri plays in 3 or 4 positions. He plays center back, midfield, number 8, right? Sometimes he becomes a false 9, right? Champions League finally scores a goal from the edge of the box in the position of a number 10, right? So all of a sudden we have this Rodri who's gone to another level, changed the way we play, and then Phillips can adapt or mimic or be like him. Therefore, he doesn't fit the way we play because we moved on from that system.
Well, do you think, so asking you on that note, do you think then if Phillips came the time when Fernandinho was here and learned under Fernandinho, maybe it could have been a different story?
Maybe he could have, but didn't have the time. And then to make matters worse, the injuries, the shoulder, then the World Cup debacle that happened where he clearly wasn't fit. Should have stayed, should have recovered, should have gotten in the team, work on the manager, decides to go to the World Cup, sits on the bench for the World Cup, gets bombed out, comes back, and the quote from the manager is that he came back fat. Remember that comment from Pep after the World Cup?
Yeah.
Right? He's overweight. Clearly telling you that he was never even fit in the first place to go to the World Cup. Wasn't fit. Wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, Phillips has gotten nothing in that team.
Yeah.
Hardly any game time. Hardly any play. In fact, we have academy products playing instead of him. From that moment on, from that World Cup on, it was over. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so it's just even if you like, I'm looking at him, Phillips playing at Leeds. Look at his heat map; he was everywhere. So when people sit there, that's what disappoints me. When people sit there and say, "Oh, this guy is not that good," Carl, this guy is actually good, and that's what I'm saying. That's the thing. We were looking at Fernandinho. When we were doing our video, we looked more at Fernandinho. We never looked at Rodri because we knew Rodri is a different type of player. But we're looking at somebody who's fast, which Philip is, somebody who's very mobile, which Philip was very mobile, to be honest with you, when he was at Leeds United, because he had to play at a very high speed, intensity. But as I said, something obviously we didn't look at is like there was no this short passing, give me the ball, get back,
Yeah.
receive the ball. Because remember, the article that has come out is in the coaching stand, they were trying to work on him on how to receive the ball from the back. You get it? How to receive the ball from the back and how to sort of play under pressure and get pressed. Because I think there's a difference between Leeds United and City. Leeds United were sitting back, observing pressure, and then counter attacking. While at City, you have to hold the ball, be pressed, be under pressure. When you're under pressure, you have to know where you have to pass the ball. Because somebody showed me something incredible. One of my friends who I rate very highly, Carl, he's an Arsenal fan. It's just that sometimes he doesn't want to be on camera, but he said something very smart. There was an argument on our group, Carl, where somebody was saying, Amrabat. You know Amrabat from United?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my friends is a United fan, Wantari, and he was hyping Amrabat, saying Amrabat is very good, blah, 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 blah. Then the guy from Arsenal, my friend, went and took a video of Amrabat and started showing it and then said, let me show you the standard of a DM in the world right now. Then he took Rodri. I saw Rodri. When Rodri receives the ball, Carl, Rodri doesn't hoof the ball, doesn't just make unnecessary passes or pass at the back. Do you know what Rodri was doing, Carl, in that video? He was looking for a forward pass and passing passes that will break the line for the other team. Incredible passes, which is very difficult for every people have to understand. It's not easy.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, unfortunately for Calvin, unfortunately for him, and I keep saying this to everybody out there, right? The City fan base are looking for the Rodri, someone who can come for Rodri. The reality is there's nobody in world football who can do it. Any DM that comes in right now has to be somebody who can play multiple positions, because unless Rodri gets injured, he ain't getting game time. He's not. There's nobody. There is no one right now in world football that can take that guy's spot in the team. It's not happening. So the question now becomes, if we get a replacement for Rodri or not, if somebody could come for Rodri, can that person play another position? Because that's the only way they're going to play. Think about Kovacic, Matias Nunes, right? Bernardo Silva. Right? All these guys can play multiple positions, so that in a game, if Rodri is playing there, then they play another position. If Rodri needs to rest, then Kovacic comes in because he can play that position. You're not going to find somebody at a DM who's going to come in and just be on the bench and wait for Rodri, God forbid, to get injured, and then comes in and plays at Rodri's level. It's not happening, guys. Let's be clear. It ain't happening. This guy is at a different level. And so Calvin's problem now is that Calvin cannot replace Rodri. Calvin cannot replace Kovacic, can't replace Foden, can't replace De Bruyne, can't replace Bernardo Silva. Where does he play? Can't play at center back, can't play at right back, can't play. So where does he play? He has to go. He's not quite at the level that we need in order to have the same level of quality across the team. So he has to go to West Ham. It's simple. You're on mute, Patrick.
Yeah. So looking back at Phillips, now obviously he's left Man City. It hasn't worked out. Obviously, all the best for him at West Ham. Now looking at West Ham, Carl, I have taken Phillips back to 2021, where he was on fire, right? So let's look at West Ham benefits. So what are the benefits for West Ham, Carl? Because West Ham do play counter-attack football. They're very direct, and all they think about at West Ham is scoring a goal. It's not about holding the ball, moving a position. Moyes' football is we get the ball, we want to go score a goal, we counter attack. So there's Alvarez in that team, there's Suchek in that team, there's Ward-Prowse, James Ward-Prowse in that team. But I'm comparing him to Rice. If you see the graphic here, so this is Phillips in 2021 compared to Rice. You can see Phillips is the one in green, Rice is the one in blue. The stats are very close, Carl.
Yeah, because he had a good 2021. And Rice is Rice there. That's why they both play together for England, right? It's a Southgate ball, which is absorb pressure, counter attack for the most part. It's not really creative. I think West Ham would be perfect for him. I think he would walk into that team because they play in transition. They don't hold the ball for too long. They don't dominate the ball in most instances. And when they play against Big Six teams, they sit back and counter attack. They win the ball and then transition quickly. He's good at long balls, and so I think it's perfect for West Ham. I think the person at West Ham who's a fish out of water is Lucas Paquetá, because his creativity is not really flourishing at West Ham as it would be with other teams such as City. I'll be frank and honest.
You know,
right?
it's just sad, those betting things. But I wish somehow, because I look at them, but those betting things are not going to anything. Cow, ever since last we heard of them, they haven't mounted to anything at all.
No surprise. I mean, Betway is one who, yeah, no surprise. They know what they're doing. These guys know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
they do.
Nothing's by
Charlie
accident.
says, "Hello, Patrick. How you doing, man? You only have one DM now. We've had one DM in a long time because Pep doesn't play Phillips at all. I knew Phillips would flop. How did you know that? Tell us, Charlie. How did you know that? You need a backup DM. Would you have kept Lavia instead of signing Phillips? Cow, you want to
No,
answer?
no, not at all. Not at all. Philip Love can't even stay fit. How's he going to play? You're going to put him on the bench and then do what? Nah. You have to play then. When last we see him play? 6 months ago?
6 months
Then at
ago.
Southampton was getting injured? Nah,
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah. Rodri never gets rest.
See, let me ask you this question, Patrick. And people make right. People talk about Rodri never gets rest. Da 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 da. In Barcelona's heyday, when they were winning everything under Pep, who was Busquets' replacement? And they played 60 plus games. Nobody really, right? So, what has Pep figured out with Busquets? Or what is he doing with Rodri? Right? Because the way Rodri plays is he doesn't get tackled much. Right? Doesn't get tackled much. He's never caught on the ball for the most part, right? Which means that the impact injuries are not there. He receives the ball, gives the ball, receives the ball, gives the ball. So it's quick on and off the ball, just like Busquets did. Is there something around the way that position plays that doesn't get them to be as injured as other players are? Fernandinho in his heyday, before he got older, how many injuries did he really have? Not many. 17, 18, he played that 6 by himself, right? How many injuries? Hardly any. So is there a way in which they play that position that allows them not to have longevity and less impact injuries, unless maybe they
do you remember what
have a hamstring? But it's unlikely.
Do you remember what Pep said to Rodri? He says Rodri's first season he used to move a lot. Remember? He says when you're in that position, you don't have to move a lot. You have to move unless you know that I'm about to impact the game.
Right. And this is what we as fans need to start studying. We always look at these, what I call these mutant journalists who create these stupid articles, right? Without really going into depth. What did Busquets do in Barcelona that didn't get him injured when he was playing so many games, 60 plus games? What did Fernandinho do?
He didn't use so much. He conserved his energy. He didn't run much. He
Absolutely.
only ran when he knew that he has to, when it's necessary.
Exactly. Right? Is Rodri doing something similar? What are the similarities between those two? Fernandinho is 17, 18, 18, 19. How come he didn't get injured as much? What is he doing that Rodri's doing right now? These are the things that these journalists should be looking at and not creating these crazy narratives around, oh, what if he gets injured? What did Busquets do? Nobody's talking about that. It's all the obvious stuff that we look at, which makes me, I just tire for them, man. You go to school to do journalism and you can't use your brain.
Yeah, it's very tough. They want to just do clickbait. So guys, like the video. We're going to do a video about Claudio after this. I'm pretty sure Carl will have a lot to say because he's watched him a lot. Big up, guys. Patrick, is you guys ready for us? Liverpool is a small thing, man. Don't hype yourself right now. I know you're doing well, Victor, but don't hype yourself. The war begins.
You know the funny thing, Patrick, about Liverpool? Liverpool fans know they've been there before.
Yeah.
They know. That's why I'm just calm, because they know, Patrick. Yeah. Right? They know that 2 points ahead in January is literally nothing.
Yeah.
They know that if they slip up just once, I mean, Liverpool lost the league with 97 points, losing one game all season. City lost 3 or 4 games that season.
Yeah.
And still beat them.
Yeah.
To the league.
Yeah.
So they know.
Yeah, they do. Anyway, guys, so Phillips is going to West Ham, and he's gonna go there on loan. They're gonna pay all his wages, by the way, guys, which is a good move by Man City. And then there's an option to buy. It's not an obligation to buy; it's an option to buy. Carl, speaking about that, do you think an option to buy is very dangerous, or is it an advantage for City that if he does well, it's not only West Ham who have to buy him? Others can buy him.
No, I mean, it's not really, because right now for the next 6 months they pay his wages.
Yeah.
If they don't want to buy him in summer, then he comes back. We find a buyer for him. But more than likely he's going to go, because I think he's going to try and perform for West Ham, and then we'll negotiate a fee. Maybe Paquetá comes for, maybe it's Phillips plus 40 million for Paquetá.
Yeah. That would be a
Yeah.
masterclass.
So yeah,
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
you,
So,
you, you
guys,
always you always do the deal that you can do right now to
yeah,
make things
grand.
move.
Yeah, grand. So, speaking about this, so he goes to West Ham. Who does he place in that West Ham midfield, Carl? Because there's Suchek, James Ward-Prowse, there's Paqueta who plays in there. Paqueta is not fit at the moment. There's Alvarez. So, where does Philip play in this West Ham team?
Let's be clear. I mean, Phillips is clear of Alvarez and Suchek. Let's be clear. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a whole
That
different
is
level.
true.
He's
Yeah,
an
that
England
is true.
international. He just come from Man City, travel winners, won everything. Yes, he didn't get to play, but he's learned under Guardiola's Bielsa. He's clear of Alvarez and Suchek. And he's younger too, I believe. At least for Suchek.
Yeah, grand. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. We're gonna do the next video. We just loaded immediately right now. We'll do the next video. I don't know if Carl's got time, but we're gonna do the next video. We're gonna talk about Claudio, who's just signed for Man City. So, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. West Ham have signed Phillips, obviously on the loan. But guys, West Ham fans, you should be happy because you guys can finish 6th. You can even go in the Champions League. It's not a dream. You're just a few points below. So Moyes is cooking, and now adding Phillips is adding quality. And Paqueta comes back, finishes the season for you. Obviously, you guys are nice enough to send him to City, and you don't start accusing him of more betting stuff. We'll be good. We'll have that good relationship between West Ham and Man City. We can start giving you some of the academy players to go and grow there. Guys, anyway, West Ham fans, be happy. City fans, I know some of you are happy. Finally, you got rid of Phillips as you wanted. I hope you're happy. I'm talking about you, Safe and Ellie. I hope you two guys are happy wherever you are. But anyway, guys, thank you very much. That's goodbye from us. Wait for us. We'll load the next video, and then we'll start off with the next. Thank you very much.